Usually when a smart movie comes out and watch, tend to go a little bit on the middle of the road because in a way I'm glad they do these kind of movies, but sometimes I get the feeling that they tend to be pretentious. And that's kind of annoying. Have you ever had, for example, a group of friends while you're in school, and then you kind of get ticked off by the smartest guy because it kind of shows that he's really smarter than you, and it's not afraid to show off. That's how I kind of feel with smart movies. Not all the time. Sometimes they're smart and they're really good and they deserve so. But sometimes they have this kind of dialogue or this kind of talk and vocabulary that are a little bit hard to understand. And I get that. We get movies that they're not fit for some different types of mentality. Although I mostly encourage smart movies because they are usually ones that they're a little bit more taken care on their content. But again, they comes out sometimes that they are very pretentious and it can be annoying. Take for example most of Christopher Nolan movies. People are gonna hate me for this. I do consider Christopher Nolan a very smart director. I'm not saying that he's bad, he's pretty good. But unfortunately, I do consider that he's very pretentious. To the point that movies like Inception and Interstellar, I hate them. I hate those movies because they're really, really pretentious and doesn't make sense. And like, again, sometimes when a smart movie tends to be a little bit like the brainy smurf of the bunch. They can be, sorry about that. Sometimes they can be boring or it's like seeing someone talk a lot. So there is a fine line between a smart movie and an entertaining movie. But again, I'm not against it. I digress. But there are other smart movies that I really like. For example, I really love 2001 Space Odyssey, for example. Or let's say, for example, a few years ago when this director, what was it called, Alex Garland, he directed this movie called Ex Machina, which I like it. It was slow paced, but it has an interesting talk about what was it, robotics and artificial intelligence and all this stuff. And well, it is well received. So much that this director, it went to the smart movies again and decided to create the today's subject, which is the movie Annihilation. I never knew about this movie a lot. I went there with only watching the trailer and went by it, and that's it. I never thought that it was gonna be one of those movie that explore a theme or a thematic or something like that. So I went there kind of blind. I didn't even knew that it was a movie that was held off for different reasons, because of the test audience went a little bit meh or something like that. I don't remember so much. And also there's the controversy that internationally they're gonna release it only on Netflix. But after watching this movie, I can see why people are pissed off by that idea, because I totally just think that this movie deserves to be watched theatrically. Because I'm gonna write out saying that I like this movie a lot. I like this movie better than Ex Machina if I compare those two movies created by the same director. So that's pretty much I have to say about in retrospective about these two movies and what do I think about the controversy. But despite me liking it, there are some things that I do have taken issue of. let's start with the story. The story is that there's this comet that crash lands on Earth, specifically on a lighthouse, I think in the south of of the United States. And apparently, when that comet slash meteor crashed, it sent out this zone or this area that begins to expand little by little, threatening to swallow the Earth. And, well, there's this group of people who are, I think there's some special forces that they are investigating what's inside that phenomena, in which they call it the shimmer. And so, but then we see our protagonist, who is this woman played by Natalie Portman, who after a year of waiting her husband, played by what was Oscar Isaacs, he returns from apparently a secret mission, but he just comes back ill and acting strangely. And when he and Natalie Portman are picked up by the special forces again, yeah, they tell her about the shimmer, who that again is this expanding thing, and not much information is known. People who entered there, they never came back except for Oscar Isaac. And well, Natalie Portman decides that she wants to find out what happened to her husband, and so she, being a biologist with experience with soldier training, she goes inside with another group of scientist women, and they enter the shimmer. Hold on a second. There is this zone which kind of looks like some kind of force field made by a Final Fantasy CGI. Okay, how do I explain it? There is this zone from in one part of the world that is expanding little by little, and nobody knows what's inside. And a team decides to enter to see what's inside. Why does that feel too familiar to me? Why was it familiar to me? Oh, I know why is it familiar. Because the plot kind of reminds me of one of my favorite 3DS games, which is Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey. It has the same elements. I mean, in the game, it's also about a black hole that is expanding to the Antarctica, and then a group of military go inside to see what's inside. That's very similar, and I couldn't help that while watching this whole movie, I get this Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey flashback. A game that I really like. I really like the themes and all this stuff. But I'm not gonna go saying that it's a copy or something like that. Maybe it was coincidental. But I will say that there are some elements that are different. For example, in the Annihilation movie, when they enter, it's not a place full of demons like in the game, or like in the game that is a world of human deciders. No, it's a little bit more different. I mean, the woman entered this place, and when they enter, apparently they just black out for 3 days. They just even question, how the hell did we camp when we don't remember what we did? And then they keep exploring, and they find that inside is really, really beautiful forest. I gotta admit, this is one of the better aspects of this movie, that the scenery is beautiful. I love the plant life and forest, how it looks like. But they've kind of realized that apparently the flora and fauna of this place apparently they're having their DNA kind of act strange. They begin to melt. And some flower species are mixing with each other, and they even find out that animals are also we could say that evolving. Like they battle this big crocodile with apparently shark teeth, and then they find out that the other people who went inside, they had serious issues. Not only because they had to deal with the things that might kill them over there, but apparently their bodies begin to act strange. Apparently parasites, they entered in their bodies. They begin like they there's a gory scene in which they cut open with this guy's stomach only to see that their organs were moving. Yeah, I'm gonna warn you that this is a hard watch for people who doesn't like to see those scenes. And then they kind of realize that the guy apparently explode into spores or something like that. Then the people get crazy because the whole thing, they drive them insane because it's a very dangerous mission. And also, how can I say, they also begin to be chased by a bear who apparently got mutated to the point that it's not only bigger than the average bear, but it has this, let's say that it has its skull inside out. And but despite these horrors, there are still other things that are kind of cute. There are these CGI deer that they have flowers in their antlers, kind of like that Pokemon. I mean, you know what? I'm really describing most of the aspect of this movie because I don't feel like I should describe the whole thing, because most of the things that you have to see you have to watch it out to believe it. But there are also, but what I'm talking about are mostly the positive things about this movie. To make a little bit of a quicker roundup, the acting is okay. They do some good acting, despite that most of the times the character kind of act unimpressed by the weird things that they happen. But usually that's what they do when they try to, you see people who are too smart trying to contain their emotions. And also the soundtrack is really, really good. And now let's go for the negatives of this movie. The movie is a total slow burn. It's so slow. And for a 2-hour movie, it has the risk that with too much talking and action scenes too spaced out between each other, it's gonna feel long, and it's gonna be a little bit like a chore. I can take it sometimes, but not regular movie watchers, they will be tired and they could fall asleep. And that is until the action scenes happen, in which don't expect something like Black Panther or something like that, but at least it keeps you awake because you think, oh, finally something is happening. Here's a little bit of a trick to keep you awake. This also happened with the Ex Machina movie, in which you gotta pay attention and try to put the pieces together on the mystery of the whole thing, and then try to deduce, okay, what's gonna happen. If you pay attention, your mind will be distracted, and it'll keep you awake. It is a little bit of a chore, and it dedicates a little bit of practice. Another negative that I have with this movie is that there are some scenes that doesn't feel that they fit, and while it could leave for ambiguous interpretations, unfortunately they come off as plot holes in many cases. In my opinion, my biggest plot hole comes off that the main character, the Natalie Portman character, she apparently feels that she owes her husband something, but we didn't we didn't. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe she owes an apology because during her how could I say during her wait for him to come back from his secret mission, she has an affair with another guy. You know what? I think that this is something that they could have taken off because it doesn't affect anything in the movie. If you could have taken off that affair thing, that could be okay, and because again, that those things I thought that it was really unnecessary. There are two moments that I would like to emphasize a little bit on my opinion about it. I think that is one good thing and one, maybe I will say bad thing. Okay, bad thing to make it a little bit more clear. The good part, which is probably my favorite part of the movie and probably the biggest highlight of the scene, is that there is a scene that is downright creepy, and that involves the bear that I mentioned before. In which it plays out again with the tropes of, okay, the team they're insane because they're keeping secrets or so. Even though now that I think of it, what was the point of keeping secret about the relationship of one character? I'm not gonna reveal too much, but I don't see what's so bad about it. Well, maybe in a personal sense, but I'll leave you to interpretation. But the thing is that this thing kind of leads with that bear, and this is kind of the closest thing that this sci-fi story comes as a horror film, and it was great. Not many horror movies manage to do scenes like that. At least not the ones that I recently seen for the past what was it, 4 months, I will say. there's some good horror movies that I'm still waiting. But anyway, the scene with that bear is very creepy, and I absolutely love that scene. But there's also the moment that I find it bad. And honestly, that I could reserve it to the ending. The ending is, personally, really confusing. I didn't get it a lot. And I think that this is also a good thing, because one of the benefits of a smart movie that have ambiguous things is that they leave out so many interpretations, and it makes for a good talk, a good interpretation. If you missed the point on something, you could share. I invite you to share the thoughts on the commentary if you want to. But if you want to comment, please try to help me out with the ending, because I am puzzled. I don't consider myself really smart. I am smart, but not that smart. And the ending, I felt that there is an ambiguity that somehow I felt unsatisfied. The best way I can describe is that we don't see too much of a clear intention of what the thing was. Was it alien? Was it nature? I don't even understand why the title is called Annihilation, because for a movie called Annihilation, it felt like a post-apocalyptic end of the world destruction thing. Oh well, but that's just me. But they only mentioned the word annihilation once, and it didn't felt like it lives up to the title, because we get some kind of final battle in which it lives up to the term mirror match. And then yeah, we got the ending that I was so confused, even though kind of people saw it coming a little bit, because well, it is one of those narratives where we start with the movie with the sole survivor talking with a group of a group of people who are kind of, what was it called, interrogating her. So you might know, okay, this guy is gonna die. She's gonna be survived. She's gonna be the only survivor. So this is, I don't mind these kind of stories, but I'm kind of warning that this is a little bit of risky stuff. And that's pretty much all the highlights I can say about Annihilation. Now the big question is, do I recommend this movie? Yes, I do highly recommend this movie. You're gonna love it, you're gonna hate it, you're gonna be confused. It doesn't matter. What it matters is gonna have a good talk. I'm glad that I saw it. It's probably one of the best movies I've seen this year. Probably not gonna be higher at the end of the year. I mean, we just kind of started. This is just the second month. But again, I still think that the story in Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey is better and much more clear than Annihilation. But hey, that's just me. Well, with a movie like that, people can not many people can go wrong.